Hey guys, Jester here. Today I'm going to be going over part 2 of my Homebrew Saltmarsh Hool Marshes campaign. The part 1, I'll provide in the link above or below, one of these places around here, at the end of this video, so that you can watch that intro. And basically, it just did an overview of basically my ground zero session for a party that's just starting out to do this, because this is going to be a campaign that is basically around 5th to 7th level starting out, working their way up to probably about 9th, maybe if they're lucky 10th level. But in any case, so basically what I did, this is post the U 1, 2, and 3 series, and I took 2 of the I series modules, I2, Tomb of the Lizard King, and I7, Baltron's Beacon. Today we're going to be mainly focusing on Tomb of the Lizard King. I've got an actual copy, better than a print, just a home printed out copy of Baltron's Beacon on its way to my house as we speak. So when it arrives, I'll be making another video basically detailing Baltron's Beacon. I'm trying to do this in a way where I don't give away too many spoilers for my current campaign party, who's actually going through these adventures right now. So this is going to be a little bit of a review of the adventures themselves, and some changes that I made to be able to incorporate them together in one campaign, and some changes that I made to things that I didn't like about the modules, which you'll see here shortly. So we'll go ahead and start now with I2, Tomb of the Lizard King. So basically this starts off, they're supposed to be coming from this town called Vendare, which in the module is the capital city of the county of Eeyore. Okay, but the first thing that I would change altogether here is the map. There is a map that is a map of the overall area. There is a map in here on page. Let's see here, where is it? That was one thing I didn't like about the adventure, is that the way that they got everything laid out with the maps and everything, and it might be different in the actual original adventure, because this is the reprint where everything's all in one booklet. I don't know, but the way that's laid out in the booklet I don't like, because you get too much flipping back and forth between everything, and it's not together in a uniform fashion. But in any case, the original map that they've got is right here, and you will see that it starts off down here and works its way up that way. Okay, and you can see how they've got all the towns laid out and everything, and the encounters. And the encounters are designed to happen in succession, 1, 2, and 3. And let's go back to this again. So I'm sorry. They started up here and worked their way down this way. Sorry. So that's starting off at Vendare and ending up in Wakeham. And so, like I said, to start off, I would go online and get this map here. Now, at the top right here, it says it's a World of Greyhawk 5e map. So I can only assume that maybe came from the 5th edition version of the Saltmarsh campaign, the U1 through 3 series that they did, and added some other modules that came from Dragon magazines. or dungeon magazines, I should say. Um, that Wizards came out with. I'm not sure exactly where this map came from, but you will notice on this map that Vendare is up here, and then you've got the actual capital city of Kimberton, of Keeland, Kimberton, or not Keeland, but capital city of Eeyore, which is Kimberton right here. And so I, in my campaign, moved their starting point from Vendare to Kimberton. That was the first major change that I had, was the map where their starting point is, because the way that they've got this map here is if you start off at Vendare up here and come down, the encounters are back and forth, and so that doesn't have a very fluid effect. However, if you start at Kimberton and travel that way, it's the same as if you had started on Vendare on the original map. So again, that's my first change there. By the way, this map has a lot of other cool features on it, locations that you can incorporate into your own campaign, make it your own, play with it however you feel like it, because it's got some great locales there. There's a washery conclave, and just all sorts of other things. So really cool map. I'm not sure who did it. I don't know if this was a Darling map or who, but in any case, kudos to whoever did the map, and yeah, I'm definitely going to use that map. Suggest using that map as opposed to the one in the book, and it'll make it more cohesive when you're running the two as an overall campaign arc together as well, because they're both listed in there and they're not that far away from each other. Okay, so anyway, so you start off in the count in the palace of the Count of Eeyore, and he's basically interviewing a bunch of groups of adventurers to go to this place in the midst of the Hool marshes and try to uncover and defeat this band of bandits who've been wreaking havoc on the local merchant caravans that have been trying to do their business up and down the trade routes. Okay, so these bandits have supposedly been disrupting trade. So anyway, so that's the task of the party at the beginning of the module, and so they interview each of these people, each of these groups, and all the ones before your group of characters have been found wanting, and so by the time your group gets there, they run their tests on you, and you're the ones to do it. So you get to meet with the merchants and hear what all they've had to say about what they've encountered in these attacks and so forth. And so in this grand meeting, there are priests of Pelor who are set up, and they're scattered around the room close to the count, and they're chanting chanting lowly, but basically they're saying prayers over the whole assembly and the endeavor that the adventurers are about to embark on. And anyway, there's like a changing of the guard of these priests. So one of them steps out and another one replaces them, and the one that replaces them ends up being an actual in the module. It just says this priest is a priest of an evil power. In my campaign, I made all these priests that are going to appear in this particular module priests of Orcus. Okay, one, Orcus is in direct opposition to Pelor, and vice versa, and it just seems to fit based on what you find in the module and just in my general campaign, overall. So anyway, So this priest of Orcus, dressed up like a priest of Pelor, comes in and pretends like he's replacing the other guy, and then all of a sudden he casts a flame strike on the count and the high priest of Pelor that's standing next to him, and then takes off running. And so the first encounter that the players have are to chase after and try to track down this assassin, and bring him to justice. So that's the first encounter. You can play that out however you want to in the module. Hopefully, the guy escapes because he's supposed to appear later on in the module. So anyway, so then they are told that they'll find out information in Wakeham, in the town of Wakeham, and so they go on their way to Wakeham, and by the time they get there, basically it's a ghost town. All the residents and business owners and everything have packed up all their stuff and they've left because they are tired of getting attacked and things and their places burnt and whatever. And in fact, half the town is already burnt to the ground. And so anyway, so they run into the last guy standing, which is a shopkeeper who's packing up his stuff and getting the heck out of Dodge, and he tells them that there's this crazy old coot down the way that can probably answer some of their questions. So they go to see him, and he leads them into the swamp to where these bandits supposedly are. So anyway, when they get there, it's this old abandoned, supposedly abandoned temple that's partly underwater, or it looks like it's about to be partly underwater, and it's obviously it's seen some wear either by age or by attacks by something or whatever, because there's like these support columns out front, and some of them are broken down, yada yada, and so. Now here comes one of the glaring things that I don't like about the module. There are several. Overall, I love this module. Both this one and Baltron's Beacon. They're both great modules when it comes to just the adventure itself. But the designers in their designing didn't think through things a lot, it seemed. And I'm about to explain one of them right now, and it happens in the early goings on of them coming up the steps to this abandoned temple where these support columns are and everything. And so let me flip to that page real quick. So that's the building. So they're coming up these steps here, and obviously these are the support columns right here, and then there's a curtain right here that is hiding this area in here. Now this right here is supposed to be a bas relief of a demon figure, which looks like this right here. Okay, so it's supposed to be a bas relief of that. And that's important throughout this whole module, because that bas relief basically is the indication that there is a secret door behind it. That's basically I guess if they tell their followers or anybody that they're wanting to be able to come into their place and speak to them for whatever purpose, they just say, hey, when you see this, that's a door, open it up, or something to that effect. I don't know. But in any case, all throughout the module, anytime you see that, there's a secret door behind it. So for what's about to happen next is kind of redundant in the fact that there's a secret door there. And what is behind the secret door immediately is just ludicrous based on the design of the module. So let's go back to that picture, the picture of the ancient temple. Now, you will note that right here it says the scale is 1 square equals 10 feet. Okay, so this section right here, that secret door is in the middle of 2 squares. So that's only a 20-foot wide section. The bas relief, and that's just the 2 squares surrounding it. If you note that this little cave that's behind it, the mouth of that cave coming out right there is probably about, based on the way it's designed here, if one of those squares is 10 feet, is 2 feet at the most. 2 feet at the most is the entrance to that little bas relief right there. Now, and also you'll note too that the cave mouth itself, it's not. Fold this up. The cave mouth itself doesn't expand off to the sides like this, like it comes, in other words, like where it comes up to the wall there and up to the wall there. No, it's actually funneling down narrowly to that door. And so that's one of the game designs that was just completely overlooked, because what's behind this is an ancient black dragon. Okay, now obviously in first edition, an ancient black dragon is a weak dragon. All dragons in first edition were pretty much suckers. They really were. They were very underdeveloped, very underpowerful. If you want to call it like that, underpowerful. If that's a term or word or whatever. But they were basically chumps. I mean, they weren't that fearsome. Okay, so I get that. Even if you go looking at the descriptions, overall they weren't that large, but you're still fighting an ancient dragon. Okay, this isn't a giant lizard. Okay, this is a ancient dragon. All right, and so they've got this ancient dragon busting through this bas relief, coming out into that open part of the temple area there to fight the party. Supposedly his cave is in that little cave area right there. It's like, okay, so for one, here's the one thing, because in this cave there's no exit. There's literally no exit to this cave, other than that bas relief. So really, I don't even know why that bas relief is there, because the way to get down to the next level is not through that cave. It's in the area that they're on the. It's in this area right here that the party goes to the next level. There is absolutely nothing, no exit whatsoever in that cave. So one, how did the freaking dragon get in there? I mean, did they open up the little 2-foot wide bas relief door, secret door, and he squeezed through 2 feet wide to get in this cave? I mean, come on. And then he's so the whole premise of him being in that area is just completely ludicrous. I played it out that way in my game. I'm kind of the encounter with the dragon was phenomenal, just with what took place, but the fact that he was there to begin with in that capacity, I wish I hadn't have played it out like that. I wish that I had him come from the skies and land on the back side of where the columns were, and do a great battle there, which is where the battle ended up being at anyway. But it makes it more reasonable for him to come from the skies and land and start attacking them, to come through there, because it's like he's some kind of guardian for this temple. It's just, that was just completely ridiculous. And for one, that he's guarding that an ancient dragon's guarding a temple for fifth to 7th level characters anyway, and two, where he was placed just makes no sense whatsoever. Based on size and dimensions and all that. Now, going back to that map. It appears to me that others thought the same thing as myself, because right here where my finger is supposedly his lair. They've moved his lair from here to this location here, which makes more sense. And on this map, it calls him the Prophet of the Hool. Okay. Don't really know how he got that title there. Not really interested in how he got that title because I'm not giving him that title in my campaign, but I am placing his lair in there. So basically, the way I ran it was he was just kind of in league with the with the Lizard King, and was there in basically that was an offering room for him where they would bring up treasure for him to kind of hang out and protect the place. But again, if I had to do it over again, I would not. I would just completely eliminate the cavern there being a cavern, and I would have that secret door there lead down to the next level as opposed to where it actually was on this map here. That just makes more sense overall. Again, given that that throughout the rest of the dungeon, anytime you see that bastard leaf of the demon, it's a secret door. So, just kind of makes sense for it to be like that. So anyway, so that was my next major change. And so then once they get down, they fight some things. Mainly they come across some bandits like expected, but then they also come across a bunch of priests of Orcus who basically have set up a temple to Orcus there inside this lower level of the temple itself. But that the party will discover also that there is even deeper levels to this, and that there's more to this whole setup than just a group of priests of Orcus having brigands attack the local citizenry. Okay, and perhaps capturing people for their sacrifices or something like that. There's more to it than that. They end up going down to where they find a temple to the Lizard King. Now, my party didn't actually get to the temple itself to the Lizard King. They got right outside the temple before they turned around and left, and decided to come back when they were more powerful. But we'll get back to that in a minute. The next thing that I think is for this particular dungeon is that, again, doesn't quite make sense based on what's going on throughout the rest of the module. I get that first edition and to some degree second edition, but mainly first edition was what's the word? Known, I guess that's not the right word I was looking for, but it works. That was known for these lavish traps that basically were insta-kills for your party. Pretty much you had little to no chance, if any at all, to escape certain death. Famous, that was the word I was looking for. Yeah, the first edition was famous for that kind of stuff. Tomb of Horrors was, obviously that's what's to be expected there. But they had that kind of like little snippets of that, little snippets of Tomb of Horror type stuff in regular modules. And I get it if you're going into an Indiana Jones type of temple or location or whatever, that's to be expected. And it's more common when you're dealing with Egyptian type stuff anyway, or maybe Aztec or Mayan or that kind of stuff anyway, where where you're dealing with tombs and stuff. And this is a tomb, but it, again, given the situation of what's going on, it just doesn't make any sense. So what I'm getting at here is, on their way down from the Orcus temple area level down to where the temple to the Lizard King is, there is a trapped set of stairs. Basically, the stairs turn into a big slide. All the stairs just go zoop, and you go sliding down, and this hole opens up into a flaming pit in the earth. Okay, there's no hint whatsoever to this trap being there. I mean, like, rise in temperature. So I would suggest that if you are going to actually use this this trap against your party, to give them some kind of clue to like a rise in temperature or something to that effect, to give them cause to pause and maybe do some inspecting or something before they start stepping on these stairs, because once you hit it, it's an insta slide, and you ain't got much chance of surviving that hole. Now, here's where it doesn't make any sense to me. They've got envoys or emissaries, if you will, of basically the Lizard King is sending out envoys and emissaries, which in the form of his priests, I guess, the workers' priests, to entreat other local tribes in the marshes, whether it be bugbears or other lizard men or whatever, to join his cause. He's basically trying to build up an army to take over and destroy mainly the palace and the Count of Eeyore, because he's got an ancient war against that family. So anyway, but so he's building this trying to build this large army. So he's got all of these all these people from these other tribes. Like I said, if it's bugbears, it's a couple of bugbears that come down. Anyway, he's got all these creatures and stuff that he's trying to get on his side, come to him in his temple on that lower level, past this trap, to speak to him. Now, sure, you can have them, the emissaries or envoy, tell everybody, hey, when you come down this one set of steps, don't step on the fourth step, because it's a trap. So everybody's like hopping, skipping, and jumping. But I mean, we're talking with not all that intelligent monsters, basically. So that just doesn't fly. So it's like, why have this trap here in this particular location at all? Because it's literally the only way down to his temple. Okay, the only way down. They got to go down these stairs. Everybody has to go down these stairs to get to him. And if he's having people come to him, why would he have the only way there trapped to be instant kill? Makes no sense whatsoever. So personally, I would completely eliminate that, and just get rid of that completely. There's no reason for it to be there. It just takes away from the module itself, and just, again, one of those things that was added to here that just does not make any sense whatsoever. No reason to be in the module. Get rid of it. Okay. So anyway, where my party decided to tuck tail and run. When you get down there, there is a river, okay, a river that they've got to cross. Now, this is a very interesting river, and for purposes of spoilers, which I've already given a crap ton of spoilers away, but I'm going to keep this one to myself and let the dungeon masters who get the actual module to have their for their party to be able to figure this out for themselves. But it's a very interesting river. I'll just put it at that. But anyway, so yeah, they cross this river, and they have to cross the river to get to the other side to where the Lizard King's temple is. And on the other side there are earthen burial mounds. So it's full. The whole area is full of whites. There's a crap ton of whites. I think there's like 14 of them. Okay. Now, as you all know, whites drain levels of experience with every attack that they succeed on. And so there is, now again, That's a crap ton of level draining monsters for a party of roughly 6 characters to go up against. 6 characters against 14 whites. Even if your party only contains 1 priest, he's not going to, even if he succeeds in turning the whites and gets the maximum number he can possibly get, I don't even think he can turn all of them, okay, at one time. And so in any case, the way that I would suggest running this, and of course this is going to depend on your party as well, I would keep the whites. Personally, I would keep the whites there. And this is why. On the upper level with the Priest of Orcus, they have the ability to obtain robes of the Priest of Orcus. Okay? Now again, it makes no... And again, the whites are another thing that kind of doesn't make any sense. It's not explained whatsoever. So it requires for the Dungeon Master to actually think things through in this module before he runs it to make it seem more plausible. Because if you think about it, if the Lizard King has got other creatures coming down here to talk to him, and on the far side behind these groups of whites, you've got other like camps of lizard men all around, but yet the whites completely avoid them, but they will attack the party. So it makes no sense to me why they would attack the party and not attack these other creatures that are coming to see the lizard men, unless these other creatures are escorted personally by priests of Orcus. So given that scenario to me, if the party is smart enough to grab these robes and put them on, basically disguising themselves as Priest of Orcus, that would be the only way that they can legitimately pass by these whites and get to the temple unmolested and not level drained. Okay, if they come across this river and they are either one, not escorted by a Priest of Orcus, or two, excuse me for just a second. I dropped there we go, a paper clip. Sorry about that. So either one, if they're not escorted by actual Priest of Orcus, or two, they're not pretending to be Priest of Orcus by the mere fact that they're wearing the robes that they come across from the upper level, then as a DM, have ham on them with these 14 whites. But that would be their out. These robes would be their out to be able to get past this group of whites without having to actually fight them. Now, I will say that when my party first came down, they were not wearing the robes, and the way I handled that encounter, because I didn't pre-plan, I wasn't thinking as a dungeon master about the consequences of what I was about to do to my party. But it's like, again, you got to think this area is a huge area down there, huge. These whites aren't grouped in one little group. When they come at the party, they're not going to be in one big mass towards them. They're going to be scattered out. So I would give, again, like I said before, if you're intending on keeping the trap stairs, give the party a little heads up warning type thing with the temperature, whatever. Give the party a chance against these whites. I would maybe at first have one or two come approach them in a hostile manner, as opposed to the entire 14 at one time, because then they can see the whites starting to move towards them, and they can, and with one or two they can identify what's going on, and then they see back in the shadows, in the darkness that's down there, other creatures moving towards them, and hopefully they'll assume, rightfully so, that it's just more of these whites, and at that point then the party can make the decision to go ahead and leave and not have to deal with trying to fight or turn 14 whites. So give them a chance that way, because if you make the mistake that I did against my party and have all 14 of them attack your party at once, that's not going to be a good thing. That's not going to be fun at all. It's going to end very badly. If you do get into a situation where they are in combat with all 14 at one time, I would not have all 14 go on the same initiative. I would stagger their initiatives. I would have one go every round, so that would take 10 of the 14, and then I would choose which rounds the other 4 are going to attack as a second combatant for that round. That again, that scatters out the attacks and gives the party a chance to defeat some of them before they get a chance to get their attack in. So again, this combat has to be thought out very well, or your party is completely and utterly screwed. Okay, but in any case, I did a kind of retro thing with my group. We ended with them leaving, but like I said, I made the mistake of having all the whites attack them at once, all on the same round. The whites won initiative, and by the time it was done, most of my party had gone down to second level. That's when they decided to get out of Dodge. They hadn't done the robe thing, and so I made a video about is it good to, or do you ever do redos in your campaign? And I did a video about that, and in this situation here is what sparked me to do the video. So if I don't put it in one of the little links at the end of the video, just search out my videos, and there will be one there. You'll see it. But in any case, so basically what I did was, because we play once a month, so I had a whole month to think about what I did wrong, what could have been done differently, and basically figure out what's going on down here. And that's when I came across all of what's actually taken place. And so what I decided was, if I would give the group a chance, I wasn't going to just completely nix the combat itself. If just to nix it and make, okay, y'all didn't actually do that, sorry, it wasn't that. They actually had to think through what they could do possibly, and then I would reward them with a redo. And basically what they had to figure out was that and I gave them some vague clues that actually made them think. And basically what it was they had to figure out that, because they had taken the robes, they had literally each taken one of the robes, but they'd stuffed it in their bags. They never actually donned the robes. So they figured it out that they needed to put the robes on, and so I redid it, backed it up, where before they came across the river, they had the robes on. When they crossed the river in the robes, they were being approached by a couple of the whites. They identified them as whites. Then they saw the others in the distance, and them not knowing, because I didn't let them know that the robes would actually keep them from being completely attacked. Just that they had something in their possession, basically, that could help them out or whatever. And so they decided at that point, even if these robes do keep us from being attacked by the whites, what lays beyond this has got to be more terrifying and more powerful than these, and we're not prepared for that. So we're not going to complete this until we're more powerful. So they at that point decided, we're still getting the heck out of Dodge, but at least at this point they still had all their levels left, because they hadn't been attacked at that point. And so that's how I did the redo. And I'm okay with that because about 90% of what happened wrong in that encounter was my fault for not reading thoroughly as a dungeon master what was going on and understanding what was going on. And I unintentionally effed my party really bad. And that wasn't fair to them. And so I wanted to at least give them some kind of chance to alter, reverse, whatever you want to call it, the situation that I, unintentionally put them in. And so that's what I did. So anyway, oh, by the way, this is Guinness, and this is my Renaissance Festival mug. Fits great on a little strap on your belt as you're trekking along the Renaissance Festival. But anyway, I digress. So that is where my party left off in this adventure. I'm not going to continue telling you what lies beyond this point because my party hasn't encountered that yet. What they ended up doing is going back to they went back to Wakeham because that's where they left their horses because they trekked through they made the journey to this place with the little nutcase hermit via a barge that he had. And I won't tell you anything about the nutcase. I'll let you discover that. But in any case, that's how they got there. So they left their horses, which they had with them. They left them at his hut, along with the wagon that they had full of supplies and all that kind of stuff. And so they get back, and their wagon and horses are gone. They've been stolen. Apparently, at some point in time throughout their ransacking and attacking the denizens of this upper levels of the temple, one of them, well, the main mage, who was very key in the attacks on these caravans, escaped. And when he took one of the barges that was tied up there, because there were a couple more barges when they arrived that were tied up. And anyway, he took one of the barges and made it back to the nutcase's hut and saw the wagon there and all the horses. And so he scattered all the horses and took the wagon and made off with all their loot that they had, because they had a crap ton of stuff in that wagon. So anyway. Yeah. So they get they make their way back to the hut, find out that all their stuff's gone, including their horses. So they have to hoof it back to Wakeham. And when they get there, the party actually has a druid. So the druid uses one of their druidic abilities, spell abilities, whatever, and calls animals. I forget exactly what that spell is, but anyway, calls for animals. And it's a random thing. It can be any animal in the area, but that will respond. But me, as the DM that I am, I had their horses come back, and so they all got their horses back, but the wagon is still gone. All their stuff still gone. So what happened to that wagon and what happened to all their stuff? Don't know yet. Still missing to this day. Will it ever come back to them? Maybe, maybe not. Don't know. We'll see. But in any case, so then as they're there, they are contacted by the other crazy old coot that is the what gets them started on Baltron's Beacon. And I'll leave the method of how they got contacted until next video. And that's where I'm going to leave off today until I get the good copy of the Baltron's Beacon, and I'll be making a video going through what they've done through that up to this point. I will say this. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm not finishing the video yet. Because a very important thing happened in this this module that has played a key role in what my party has done since then. And one of the rooms that they encounter in the second level, where all the Priest of Orcuses are, they find a tome. And it is an evil tome. And I'll leave it at that, because I'm pretty sure I made it my... Well, actually, I won't leave it at that. Let me find this tome. Because, let's see... Just bear with me while I search this, because I had forgotten that I was going to talk about this. But it was very important to... Oh, here we go. Area 21, the Clerical Study. And actually, it's what it actually says it is here. There's a Book of Vile Darkness in this room on a stand. I can't remember if it was open or not, because I'm not going to take the time to read it here, because you guys are watching and don't want to sit here watching me read something in my book. But anyway, there's a Book of Vile Darkness. And we've got a mage that likes to collect books. And so he goes in there and, without thought, just starts to read it. And, or maybe he just takes it, I can't remember. But the bottom line is, he gets possession of this Book of Vile Darkness. And as a result, there is an evil taint on him. Now, he's not evil, he's chaotic neutral, okay? But there's an evil taint on his spirit, his being, as a result in just merely handling this evil tome. And as a result, I'd already thought through this prior to them even going into the room, but he basically got a night hag to start visiting him nightly in his dreams. And if you know anything about night hags, and this method that they do of riding your back in your dreams, it's usually only against evil creatures. And basically what they do is each night they ride your back for the whole night in your dreams. You wake up exhausted and you lose a point of constitution. And this continues every night that you go to sleep. They visit you, ride your back, and you lose a point of constitution. This point of constitution is a permanent loss. Okay. So I think my player who has the mage, he started off with a constitution, I think around 16 maybe, 14 maybe. I think he had a +1, +2, so that would be a 15 or 16, I think. Yeah, 15 or 16. Yeah, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 15. So either 15 or 16, because he had a +1 or +2 to his hit points. So that only gives you, in his case, 15 or 16, depending on which it was, nights of this riding before you're at 0 constitution and dead. And when that happens, the night hag turns your essence into a larvae that she takes back to the abyss and uses that as a bargaining tool for other things that she wants. And basically, the demons that take this larvae use that to turn you into, the lower forms of demons. But in any case, that's only supposed to happen to evil creatures. But because he had this evil taint upon him, when she encountered him, she mistakenly took him for an evil creature, and so started this nightly thing. It got to the point where he decided to try to not sleep at night. And, as a result of that, there's fatigue sets in. Now you're losing temporary constitution points, even though it's not a permanent thing to make you, die and get taken away by the hag to the larva. But you're losing temporary constitution points until you sleep again. And, you're losing dexterity and strength and all this kind of stuff. and because you're exhausted, you're not getting any sleep. And so for a spellcaster, he's not getting all of his spells back, and he's having percentage chances of not casting his spell successfully when he does, and it's just wreaking royal havoc on my spellcaster. But that's what happened to him, and that was just that was not a product of the module itself. It just happened that there was a Book of Vile Darkness there, and that was the Night Hag was all 100% me as the dungeon master, giving consequences to one of my players for not thinking out things that has dire consequences or could have dire consequences. But that has sparked a whole series of events that has taken the party on a different turn than what I was expecting. They have decided to try to figure out how to how to visit the ethereal plane to be able to defeat the hag, so that he is not visited anymore by her. And they basically they bargain with the nutcase in the Baltron's Beacon module that sends them on their little quest for that module. In that module, they bargain with him that they'll go on his quest if he will make a potion of ethereal, a potion of etherealness for them, so that their main fighter can drink it and go and kill this night hag. And so that sets off their motivation for actually going to Baltron's Beacon and doing the nutcase's bidding, what he's wanting them to do there. So that's where I'm going to leave off today's episode. Until next time, when I actually go through Baltron's Beacon with you, and we'll find out a whole lot of other things. Okay? Well, thanks for watching, guys. As always, I do appreciate it. And make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell, share it with all your friends, because the more shares, the more views I get, the more views I get, the more followers I can get, including you if you hit that subscribe button. So make sure hit that subscribe button. I am currently at, I think, 126 subscribers. It would be great if I could get to 1,000, because if I get to 1,000, I can actually start getting paid for this kind of stuff, as opposed to this just being free for the heck of it. So, yeah, that would be awesome, guys. I would so much appreciate that. So I got a ways to go from 126 to 1,000, but, hey, got to start someplace. Also, one other thing that you could do to help me out greatly is to I've authored 2 novels. One's the Book of Prophecies, and the other is the Black Knight. Both are fantasy fiction novels. The Black Knight is about a character from the Book of Prophecies, and so to help me out by purchasing one of my books, you can go to my About section on this YouTube channel here, or you can go to my About section on my Facebook author page called James Richmond Author on Facebook. So either one of those places on the About section, you can find links that will take you to my books and buy there. Also, I am a freelance writer for GUI Cube, who produce 5th edition RPG products. Wonderful company. They have a great world called the World of Ziathe. And so that's where they produce all of their content. And if you notice back here on either side of me here, these are 2 RPGs that I have either written or co-written. And so anyway, so yeah, check out GUICube.com. If you purchase it, it's not going to put any money in my pocket because I've already gotten paid, but it will help the company GUI Cube out greatly, and will keep people like me, writers and artists that they use to produce their stuff, employed. So help me out that way as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate any help that you can give me, and until next time, and as always, see you soon.